What's poppin', Royal Nate? Nope. See?
Part two. See, overthinking.
Yep. Welcome back, Royal Nation, to another installment of Raw View, where you get a better insight of these king and queens behind the scene. I'm your host, Cheno Royal, baby. I'm here with, what's your name, sir?
It's DJ Polaris.
Mr. Polaris, man. I've been getting legends on the show, but I'm just very appreciative to have you on the show, sir. I appreciate you for sliding on out.
I appreciate you having me, seriously.
Man, it's a crazy small world, like how we met, because it's funny how I had your son on here, shout out DJ Black Code,
Right.
and just showing up, me having a gig, and then just magically meeting you there, which was crazy to me.
Yeah, that's what they call happy accident.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some Bob Ross.
Yes, sir.
It's just a happy accident. No doubt.
But hey, man, how was your day, man?
Good. I can't complain, man. Sun is out, or was. So, but hey, it's a good day. So every day above ground is a good day.
That's right. I mean, don't get it twisted. I mean, I do have the shades on. I get it. But hey, the light's still blinding. I'll say that.
Cool. No doubt.
But go ahead, for the fans at home, just elaborate on who DJ Polaris actually is.
Right. Well, first and foremost, obviously the DJ portion of my name is a DJ. So that's where I started. Just being connected with music, or at least trying to be a DJ, and then as time went on, also a producer, engineer, is a big part of what I love to do as well. So, especially the engineering, I love mixing records and doing stuff for documentaries and things of that nature. It's cool. Films.
Have you always been solely in music? Like, did you just come out the womb and you're just like, hey, man, give me the turntables, give me the one and the twos?
No, not at all. I think just probably like anyone, your parents are playing music. Music is a part of almost everything, from commercials to if you go to a ride, a kiddie ride when you were, a kid, and you ride on a carousel, it's music. Everything.
Ice cream man in the neighborhood.
There you go. So everything's related to some type of sound, if you will. Always been in the sound more than anything.
Okay.
I love like cicadas, so I would listen at night, and I just love sound. I just love hearing sounds and different things.
Hearing all the noises outside.
No outside noise, even being in serious silence, being in the woods or something, like just everything has a sound, a frequency, if you will, a vibe is what we refer to stuff now. So
now, was there a particular, did you come up with an instrument first, or like?
No, I think the DJing started first.
Okay.
My parents were young parents, we lived above a record store on Pontiac Street called Tall Man Records.
Okay.
And so obviously during the day, or all day, especially Saturday, Sunday, they would play music inside of the store, and I could hear it. So, and I'm hearing it kind of filtered or muffled. So I'm like, man, I want to go down there. So I was always into music, dancing, big Michael Jackson or big Jackson's fan. And then obviously Michael being the lead. But then I would go inside of the store, and one of the owners, the wife, Miss Pat, she would, and probably it was a pest a little bit, so she would always like sit me down in this tall chair and be like, just like
chill.
Just chill. And I would just absorb all that music, man, and just listen to these records that were obviously ahead of me, but I just absorbed it. And then as time went on, and this is a weird part of the story, but it's the truth, as I got older, I don't know, I was probably around 10, maybe, because I know I was playing Metro football at the time, and I worked for a a local pimp here.
Okay.
And he had this house, and where he conducted his
business.
anatomical sales agents and so on. So across the street there was a pool hall,
Okay.
and half of it was a church. So the pool hall half he owned, his brother owned the other half.
Okay.
And I know some people will recognize who I speak of, but anyway, he would have me open it up, not the church, but the pool hall side, and put a speaker outside and say, "Hey, just put on some music until his worker got there."
Okay.
So I only had about an hour, but
That's still
man,
a good amount of time, though.
yeah. So back then, you stack these records up, had an arm on a 45, and they would just drop down. Not like we have Spotify and all that today, which the mentality is still the same. So I made a playlist, if you
Right.
will. So I stack them up a certain way, certain order. So I would always put like two fast songs and a slow song, then two mediums. I had this whole mentality of how to put records together
Mm-hmm.
and how to make what we now call playlists. So I would put that on, and I would watch how people reacted driving down the street, walking by. And when you start to attract, I won't call it a crowd, but just people stopping, like, well, how's this little kid? How
Right.
does he know, Confunction? How does he know Steve Arrington? How does he know, obviously Frankie Beverly and Mays, all the Parliament, all these records that were before me, technically. So that's how I got into DJing, pretty much.
How did you, from that moment on, how how have you recognized like the change in like your craft? Like since then, like has there been certain moments that have like certain songs that obviously I would ask like, was there a song that kind of made it to where like, oh, this is what made me want to do this,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm more interested in doing like this sort of genre and stuff like
I
that.
mean, definitely when hip hop became like more mainstream, we kind of knew about it in our neighborhoods, of course, but
Yeah.
it was more underground, or what it was no internet, obviously. So the two turntable thing or whatever was really from the disco era, and then hip hop picked it up. We kind of reinvented it, and then we had our own thing. So that's when it kind of changed for me, because I knew I didn't want to. I wanted to be a musician like anyone else, play a trumpet, drums, or
Right.
whatever. But turntables were cheaper.
Oh.
Instruments were real expensive.
Yeah.
So turntables were already there. Your parents had one, maybe your uncle had an old one he wanted to give up.
Right.
There you go. So it was a cheap way to play music, because it's all about how you play the music.
Right.
And if you've been to enough parties or enough functions where there's DJs from different eras, it's different ways to play. That's why we have mashups now. We have, remixes and all these different ways. So technology was a big change for me when the technology changed.
Which leads me into my next question. Like, what has been some of the challenges and adversities that you've faced, like from that time to now? Like, what is some of like the like I guarantee there's a plethora of them,
Right.
but like,
No,
what's some that you've noticed?
the biggest one for me is the generational hatred thing. I
Okay.
don't like how the older guys, even older than me, don't like or whatever the younger guys, or they're overly critique them. You see it in the NBA, you see it in the corporate world.
Pretty much everything.
Right. You see it
Yeah.
in the corporate world. If you ever had a corporate job, and I've worked different jobs, throughout my life, and I'll see it, the new CPAs come in fresh out of college, and they're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. We didn't have these type of calculators. We didn't have Google. We didn't have these things. It's like, but you're the ones who invented all of this stuff
Right.
out of necessity, because you're like, hey, if we had this type of computer, or we had this type of application, we could do our jobs better. So of course the newer generation picks it up. Why would you be mad at them? So
Right.
the generational stuff is probably one of the biggest ones. That's the one I hate,
Okay.
because you don't learn up only. So you don't only look up to an elder, you look down to children. They can teach you as well.
Yeah.
So don't ever think you have to learn because somebody's older. Everybody's not an OG.
Right.
An OG used to be a name you earned because you put in a certain amount of work in whatever field that is, whether it's crime or whether it's,
It used to
you
be
know,
like, from what I've known, like there used to be just like a handful of just OGs to
yeah,
begin
everybody,
with.
see, everybody
Everybody's
thinks,
now like an OG apparently.
I mean, you got people calling themselves old and they're 28. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, I'm almost 30. I'm like, chill out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It doesn't mean that you're a kid either. Again, you learn up and you learn down. So I can look to people like Black Cole, my own son, and say,
Yeah.
hey, how do you do this? Like, how did you come up with this? And how did you do that? And then he can also look up to me and say, Dad, what do I need to do? Or how do I need to do it? You can't be afraid to learn both ways. So
Okay. I like that.
that's one of the biggest, things. Other than that, after that, it would probably just be, again, I think we were speaking off camera about business people and culture people.
Yeah.
You got some business people that don't understand culture, and you got some culture people that don't understand business.
Mm-hmm.
And you need a little bit of both. And I'm not saying it has to be 50-50. It depends on what you're doing. And you have to kind of lean on either one based on the situation. So
Kind of piggybacking off of that, like
sure.
even just the marketing in general, like I would say maybe back then, like I'll go off of my an anecdotal experience for myself about how when I grew up, it was kind of like you thought that, oh, maybe I have to go get this record deal and then I have to be signed to this person, just like how it's always been the traditional way of doing that.
Right.
And then now we're in an age where it's just like, well, I mean, you don't really need them. That's kind of like the middleman right there. Like
Yeah.
it's just you and the people. So like how would, like, with that being said, like what's something that you would bestow on people that are like getting into the industry? Like would it be like and this is just an example, like
Sure.
is this something that they would have to tap into, not just musically, but like marketing, like expanding their
Absolutely.
knowledge?
Today, just like when you spoke, more being probably a music artist, let's just say that, or rapper, singer, songwriter, whatever. Now, once technology changes, then it gives us the tools to do more than a big company had to do. Here, even if you go into people who are in the food business, they have different things as well. You know what I'm saying? Like now we have food trucks. We never had food trucks
Right.
before, but you can literally start a business in a food truck, a drivable restaurant. You never
Right.
thought of that. So as those things changes, but one of the things that, and from a DJ perspective, is that yes, you should, you hear these words, invest in yourself and things like that. That's a pretty broad concept. I think you got to get more specific with certain people. And what me and my partner, DJ Barrage, shout out to Barrage, we bet on ourselves, all those cliche words, sure. But what we did was we thought about culture and we thought about business. We didn't just look at it straight as business. We said, how can we impact the culture? Like, what can we do for the culture? So in any business, you find what's not there. And at the time when we started Music Lovers, what wasn't there was a place for, I don't want to even say an older crowd, because we were still in, basically in our 30s,
Right.
if you will. So, but it wasn't a lane for that yet. The young people had the clubs, you had the strip clubs, which is for a whole nother market.
Right.
You had, after hours joints, you had underground, you had all these places, but it wasn't a place just to hear music, from all genres and what we did. So that's what we did. So we created that. The uphill battle always is going to be, will people catch on to the concept? Can you last enough economically to keep feeding it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like people who bake, when you have yeast, it's funny, me and my sister were just having this conversation about yeast. Just bear with me. And but she was like, do I work with yeast a lot? And I was like, yeah, And I was like, the one thing you have to do is keep feeding it, because yeast, it eats sugar.
Right.
It needs something to eat in order to grow. So if you can't keep feeding that business, then it's probably going to die unless you make an impact culturally. So with those two things, you just have to balance those two things. Is it that easy? No, because you can fail. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with what they call failure. Sometimes it's just experiment. Every scientist you probably can look up in the world, you know,
like thousands of times.
thousands. They failed more than they won.
Yeah.
It's just that they never gave up until they got to the desired result. Is that hard? Absolutely.
And that would bring me to something that I was thinking about the other day about like even I've had to like take time to like whether not like I hit a brick wall, but it's more of just like maybe something went as far as it can go, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you need to like take back a couple steps, look at the bigger picture,
Right.
and then see what else you can do. Like taking
Absolutely.
steps back isn't always a bad thing, and like I think pride gets in the way right there.
Absolutely. You know, and I don't want to again get into this generational thing, but the newer generations for the last what at minimum 25 years, social media has played a big part in their lives, and as well as mine as well. But you have that added pressure. You know, if you didn't have social media, just the people around here in your city may know
More
about you.
local.
Yeah. So you wouldn't face worldly pressure. You put a song out tonight and put it up on SoundCloud or YouTube or, you know, Spotify or whatever, you know, different medium. The whole world can hear it. And somebody could post it on Twitter and say, "Can you believe this clown? Can you believe this garbage?"
Yeah.
And the whole world can make a meme out of you and the song.
Yeah.
And I'm talking in 24
That's
hours.
yeah, that's pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a different pressure. You know, again, some of the older generation are not used to that.
Mm.
So they can't absorb it. So they're like, wow. And that'll kill your career because you can just get dogged and just totally feel like I'm a failure because I put a song out and the whole world said it was trash. You know what I
And
mean?
how is something like that? Like what are some ways that you've learned, picked up, or maybe even people have gave you advice on like how to handle those sort of pressures? Like
It,
I know that
it's kind of the same if you played sports. Um, you know, even in your own household with your brothers and sisters, you know, there's different excel rates. You know, one of my sisters, Kadisha, is like super duper smart, you know, always read books,
right,
just so super duper smart. And I was like, man, you know, I want to be like her, not in a jealousy way,
right,
but just, you know, so you sometimes you have to work your way there and you have to wait your time. And waiting doesn't mean you're being stagnant. You know what I mean? It's just like waiting on a pitch in baseball. You're waiting until the ball gets there. You have to wait for your ball to come in.
and it could
Be
feel
able to
like
make it.
that. It could
Yeah,
feel like like you can get those little jitters of like wanting to, like hit the
absolutely.
ball and everything.
Right. And you wait on your pitch. You know, and I'm not a big baseball person, but I'm saying I use that, you know, from a metaphoric standpoint of, you know, thinking about life. Like I have to wait on my pitch. And everything that I've done, you know, even in production, like it's not always going to be like broadcast to the world because you can be a producer like myself and I got tons of records that I've been paid for. None of them have won a Grammy, none of them have won American Music Awards, but my wallet understands
Right.
what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to, it just depends on what your focus is. Some people
Right.
get into that, like most producers before, really before the advent of the internet, you didn't even know who they were.
Right.
Do you know who Rod Temperton is?
No.
See?
Yeah.
But if I told you all the songs, you'd be like, wait a minute. This guy is one of the greatest producers ever. Yeah, but it wasn't in the internet.
That was the same thing with when somebody showed me who Scott Storch or
Yeah.
yeah, where
Nobody knew
I
his face.
didn't even know, and
Nope.
then people started rattling off all the songs, and I'm like,
You
oh
know
my
when
lord,
Scott Storch got popular is when he became a drug addict
yeah,
and blew $40 million or whatever the figure was, and he talked about it publicly.
yeah,
Then everybody got interested because they were interested in his failure, not in his successes.
which is crazy.
Sometimes that's what
That's what it
it sells
is.
the story. So you can make money in the music business. I just taught a class at Canterbury High School for a summer program. And one of the things I tried to express to the students was, hey, you don't have to be a rapper. an entertainer. You don't have to feel like you're some clown on stage or that you have to entertain people.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be step and fetch it. You don't have to feel like, you're in a minstrel show. You don't have to feel any of that pressure. You could be an accountant, still be around music. You could be a manager. You could be, wardrobe. There's many jobs within the
There's so many
framework of that.
angles, like even like
Yeah.
with doing a podcast, graphic design work, people need like cover stuff all the time.
I tell all the artists, like visual artists, all the time, hey, hit me up. If you have great paintings, that means you can make a cover.
Yeah.
You can make t-shirts. There's just so many angles that you can go. And I think that that's been lost in not just in the music business, but all businesses. Because even in the financial world, again, you don't always have to be the CEO. You could be the COO. You could be the CFO. It's other lanes, and you can still make money. But it depends on what your goal is.
Right.
Some people want the spotlight. Me personally, completely hate.
You just want attention.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
people want just for everybody to love them and to say they're the greatest and all of that.
And it might
Me
not
personally,
always be for like a bad reason either.
No, there's and I'm glad you said that, because I don't want to seem like I'm saying everybody who wants that is wrong.
Yeah, no.
No, it just depends on what you want. Me personally, I just wanted to do the work.
Right.
I wanted the work to be completed, and if I could turn it into something that works for me economically as well, I mean, I found what we call dream job at that point.
Right. Because I think we all kind of start off in this sort of, not like a fantasy, but kind of where it's just like you see the glitz and the glamour.
Absolutely.
And then as you get older, like it not chips away, but like you start polishing it down to what is more
Right.
real. And my question would be to you, from what we were talking about behind the scenes, about how it's not being ashamed of like having to, like what we were talking about, having to step back. Like
Right.
people look at like doing stuff like whether it's in like on the street or maybe like downtown somewhere in an alley or
Right.
like in a small room that like
Yeah.
can barely hold like 10, 20 people.
Right.
Like that. Don't be ashamed of that.
No, there's no shame in that. I think, again, if your goal is to, let me do this. And this is something that I notice, and this is not to dog anyone personally, but it is what it is. You notice how if you go to people's Twitter or their, different Instagram, whatever social media they have, they tend to only post the wins. So if you go to a DJ's page and all he shows you is, oh, look at all these people that I'm rocking in front of. How come you don't show when you're rocking in front of 13 people? And let me tell you why I think that's important, and that's why I do it. Is because those 13 people are just as important as the 3,000 you were in front of. Because where I'm, my own history, those 13 people are still coming and joining the 2,900 and 900 and 50 people or whatever. Like, they're joining these numbers. That's how you build on it. A lot of people don't want to build. It's just easier to want to go from 0 to 100.
They want to see the finish line.
Right. It's just like, everybody wants, nobody want the labor pains, but everybody want the baby.
Yeah.
So that's what we are today. It's like everybody doesn't want to go through the work because they want to get fast. So you see all these get rich quick things, and join me. I can show you how to make money on the stock market, right? And look at my house and look at my car and look at this broad.
Everything's rented, bro.
Right? And everything's like, look at what I have success. So they show you the end, but they didn't tell you, hey, I had to go through 10 years of this.
Right.
They won't tell you that. They're just like, all you have to do is follow these 3 easy steps in real estate and you'll be rich. And it's like, if that was the case, everybody would be rich.
Right.
So I think it's just, you have to embrace, it's not about struggle. It's just like when you go to the gym,
It's a day at a time until you just don't notice it anymore.
Honestly, yeah. When you first start doing bench press, I mean, literally, you may be bench pressing with 2 10s on it and struggling, your chest burns. That's not a failure. The point is that you're there. that you're participating. So the next week you notice, man, I put 2 5s on there, and now I can. Next thing you know, you're at
25,
300 pounds.
45.
Right, you just keep going up. But the thing is to keep going back. And in business or any type of endeavor that you have, you keep going back. Same thing, even in romantic pursuits. You pursuing young lady, or young lady's pursuing a guy. It's not about, hey, how you doing? My name is so and so, and then you get resistance. You're like, forget that chick. I'm
Not
gone.
for me.
Nah, you say, okay, what did I do?
Yeah.
Because if she's important, you're gonna continuously
You'll
pursue
make it work.
and vice versa. So again, in everything we do, there's something there. You grow food. You don't just put it in the ground and forget about it. You gotta nurture it. You gotta water it. You gotta clip. You gotta watch out for pests. People
Don't understand as much.
It's a lot, man.
And I'll
just
even
to get some corn these days.
And I'll even put it on a nice little example too. Like I just bought a house like a year ago, like coming up on a year.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And understanding like everything, like obviously you do see like the external stuff that you need to pay for on a house,
No doubt.
but then even understanding like everything that's internal, like the build, like certain small things that could break. I just replaced a water heater. Like people not understanding all that, but then the grandiose mission is I'm not paying rent no more.
Yeah, I mean that's a part of everything. Your body is maintenance, so you have to shower, you have to take care of your skin, you have to eat certain foods, and when something breaks down, what does the doctor tell you? Hey, we got to replace it, we got to improve it, we have to care for it. In a way, a house is exactly the same.
Exactly
the same. It's never going to be I just bought a house. It's like that's the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
But hey man, I want to go ahead and give you your flowers, man. I appreciate you. Love everything you're doing.
I'm very rare to be on the camera thing. It's not my thing really, but I've been trying to, so you're helping me because, I think that I was selfish a lot of years, not trying to share whatever I knew. I'm not saying everything I say is gonna work, did work. I made a lot of mistakes. I fell on my hands tons of times, but thank you for pulling me out to share whatever I could do to help, because again, I love, number one, I love this city personally because I see so much potential. Even what you're doing now, this could easily be a CNN thing in 5 years. So I'm not here to, give any false hope or anything, but I see so much talent around here in every aspect. Like I told you, real estate. I see people, mental health field, that's growing. I see, construction. I see people, school teachers, everything's growing. So I love to be a part of that. So, doing these type of things helps me.
Anytime, man. And I know it may seem like a cop out to some people, but like I had a meeting with Chuck Surak like back when I used to work at Sweetwater, and like I had a meeting just because I wanted his insight on just if I laid all of the stuff out on the table, what would an actual person who's there be able to tell me about my product? And his opinion was just straight up, just like, you have it there. The only person that's honestly going to stop you is you. Like if you just quit, like that's going to be the only thing that I see.
Yeah.
Because you got something there. Like if you
doubt kills. Doubt kills. We all going to have doubt. Don't get me wrong. If I'm in the studio, I mean, and anybody who's been around me in that capacity knows I'll spend sometimes months just working on the drums because I feel like they're not right. That's not a perfectionist attitude. It's just I'm giving or selling you a product. So I want to give you the best that I can do. If I sold tomato soup, I would try to make sure it's
the best Campbell's you got.
The best, the best tomatoes, the best spices, whatever. Like that's just because that's what we expect.
Yeah.
When you sit down at a restaurant, you look at the waitress or the waiter and you expect a certain amount. Think about that when you're doing what you do, when you're doing these videos and you're expanding your product and the whole multimedia thing. think of that. Yeah, you could cut corners, but find ways to make it as best you can with whatever tools you got. And people will notice. And when they see that, they'll know you're serious and they'll take you serious. And then you move on from there. And never, I say a lot of people get drunk with success. Big mistake. People tell me all the time with the pats on the back and even, you using the word legend and so on and so forth. And I appreciate all of that.
Yeah.
But I still have work to do.
Mhm.
Every gig to me, and I used to tell my partner Barrage this, well, when he first started, I said, every gig is really an audition for the next gig.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, it's some people in the room that haven't heard of you, that don't know you, don't care about you. But when they hear your product or they feel it or wear it or taste it or whatever you're doing,
It's bigger fish, bigger ponds.
they're like, oh,
yeah.
let me, latch on to that. So yeah, just keep working. That's one of my favorite hashtags is keep working, and, just kind of have tunnel vision, and you have to have that because you can get drunk off your own success and start feeling yourself and you think that you're something and man, the fall is crazy.
Keep work.
Yeah.
I might have to put that on a T-shirt. Keep working,
Keep
and then on the
working.
back, because there's a lot of distractions.
Yes, there is a lot of distractions. I mean, again, I fell victim to them. There's no doubt that I fell victim, and you lose your discipline.
Yeah.
It's like I said, all that's going to happen or can happen. The thing is, can you get back up? Can you get back on track?
Because you
That's
will.
the real thing. Yeah,
Because you will fall.
yeah, no, yeah, you're going to fall. I mean, it's a part of it. Nobody, athlete or like I said, CPAs, presidents, whatever, have never I did everything perfect. Everything was perfect. No.
Just the more successful ones I've just seen, like they've just welcomed more like the losses rather than even the wins.
Yeah.
Like what you just said, like not like they don't cherish certain wins, but it's almost like they'll be handed a win and then they'll just be like, all right, well,
Yeah.
what's next?
I mean, I tend to focus on the losses because usually the losses are something I did wrong, something I did in my mathematics.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my like when you do I look at life as geometry. Remember, in geometry, you get the answer. The teacher just wants to know how you got there.
Yeah.
How do you get to this? So you actually have to show, as they say, show your work. So look at life as mathematics. Show your work the angles, geometry. It's and then with the money, obviously, sit down and make it make sense. And sometimes I think we see big numbers, like you said. We're talking about rental spaces and things of that nature. Don't let that intimidate you, because again, people will spend money on what they believe in. You 100%. Believe in the new Jordans, you buying them. Boom. Yeah, they're $400, but you believe in them, right?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I can fly with these.
Yeah, or whatever. You believe in the new coupe, so you're like, man, I always wanted a Bentley for those that can afford those, or even a Cutlass, a box Chevy, whatever you wanted. You believed in it enough, and you did whatever you wanted to do or needed to do to get to that goal. Sometimes I said it takes tunnel vision. You have to give up vices. And some people don't think it's a vice, but everything's a vice if it's stopping you from getting somewhere. So maybe you can't hang out.
100%.
Maybe you got to tell your girl, look,
gotta go to work.
Biaggi's ain't the mood tonight, baby.
Yes, sir.
And somebody got to cook. So,
but hey, man, like I said, I appreciate you. I'll let you take it away with this last question.
Sure.
Before we get up on out of here, where do you see all this stuff going for you in the next couple of years? Like, what's the overall end game of DJ Polaris? And I'll step away for a second. But
yeah, I think teaching is the biggest part for me now. I've had success. I know everybody. I had a question in an interview before, and they were like, hey, how will you feel once you become successful? And I kind of looked in the air like, I'm already successful.
Right.
Because don't let other people define your success. You know what you want to do with this, correct? You know what your vision is. That's your success. And if that success is not up to or in an area where others think so, who cares? Because again, I felt I was already successful because I was able to sustain and maintain myself and my family for all these years, really surviving through music. because that's what made, I've had jobs and I have a job now, but
Yeah.
I'm saying economically, if I look at the numbers, music,
Has
I'm good.
supported you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good. So, and that doesn't mean I have, you know, 10 houses all over the country and all that, all that fake stuff. No, the fact that I'm able to eat well, to food, clothing, shelter, take care of myself. I don't have my hand out, begging for money. All my businesses are supported by me. I have no grants, I have no loans.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I
impressive.
ain't got no street debt, none of that. So, that is success to me. So now, again, teaching, and what I mean by teaching is anything I can teach a person, business wise, culture wise, I'm willing to do it.
It's not all about the Gucci or the Prada, man. Sometimes,
Nah, I mean,
sometimes it's just family
yeah,
and
I mean, and that you can have it all though. You just have to find the balance. It's just how fast do you want it? Some people want it so fast.
right.
I'm just willing to work. It doesn't bother me to work. I can go slow, preserve your body, eat well, try to, drink well, have a good mind, try to do the right thing. Again, I'm nowhere near perfect. I fell on my hands many times and probably will continue. But again, keep doing those things and preserve yourself and be here. Because if you're here, you have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that goes into what we were talking about earlier, where it's just like you can sustain, like what you're saying, like you can have a life where you can sustain a consistency of actually being able to support yourself. I think
Absolutely.
it's just more of we're trying to ball on a budget that we really don't have.
Yeah, and I understand it's a lot of glitz and glamour. Everybody wants to take the pictures on the beach and say I'm taking flights, or how was the saying? I don't catch feelings, I catch flights,
Flights,
and
yeah, yeah.
like all that's dope. It looks good for the camera and all of that, and you get to thumb your nose at your old friends, and because you were the fat girl and now you the skinny girl, and you know what I'm saying, you was the nerd dude, now you the thug dude. I mean, all those different things are cool, but they're not long lasting
Yeah.
because everybody has been on a flight.
Yeah.
So you're
It's
not
like
really doing.
gum. The
Yeah,
flavor goes away
right.
eventually.
Yeah, you ain't been nowhere. A lot of them are, even broke trying to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that type of person. So, nah, I'm cool.
Well, hey man, like I
Yep.
said, I'm very appreciative. I
You're
appreciate you
looking
for
out,
coming
man.
on out. I know
Yeah,
you're a
no
busy
doubt.
guy.
Yeah, man. Gotta stay busy, man. Rolling Stone gathers no moss.
Yeah,
And
there
that's
you
what they
go.
say.
And shout out DJ Black Code.
Yeah,
Shout out
he
Mr.
whacked though.
Polaris.
Nah,
And I do these things called check-ins. So this isn't the last time you've seen of him or
yeah,
Black Code. So
yeah. We'll have
whether
to
it's a
come
couple,
together.
whether it's a
Yeah.
couple months down the road, we'll have to check up on you, see how stuff's been, and
Yeah. I got some things on the fire, and
definitely
you're
gonna
gonna be
have
the
to stay
first. I'm
tuned.
gonna have to bring you here first.
Yes,
No
sir.
doubt. No
Yes,
doubt.
sir. But go ahead, shout out every place we can find you. All that stuff will be down in the description below. But shout that
Well,
out real quick.
absolutely. Anywhere you go, Instagram, I'm DJ Polaris, D.J. Polaris, Polaris. Same with Facebook. Same with, like I said, Instagram, Twitter. I'm just the same person. So, yeah, go on there, check it out, shout me out. Again, if I can help any of the young, old producers, anything, I'm always open. I don't have any secrets when it comes to production or any of that stuff, and no odd ways, like I said, because we need to teach people, because you're always going to be one-on-one. So
Of
if I can
course.
help, no doubt.
Of course. And on the business tip, any events coming up you want to shout out really quick?
Yeah, we have something September 27th. So I'm gonna just say
Okay.
save the date. I don't want to throw
It's right
everything
around the
out
corner.
there. It's right around the corner. I know next week, and I don't know if this will air before the 31st of August. I'm sorry, the 30th of August. 30th.
It should be
Okay.
not
Yeah, that'd
before
be next
then, but
Saturday.
in September. In
Yeah,
September.
that's fine. But on the 30th, we're gonna do our final Music Lovers for the summer.
Okay.
So we're pretty excited about that. Sad at the same time because in the summer, but we're
here.
Yeah, we're pushing into.
I've been burnt to a crisp too much. It's time for hoodie season.
Yeah, but we're pushing into 14, 15 years now.
Man,
so
congrats.
We're just happy to still be here and that people still even desire what we do. So shout out DJ Barrage and Kelly and Akil and Acacia and Jessica and X and everybody who works with us, man. Even the Fort Wayne Police Department, they've been very good to us.
Boom.
You know, keeping us safe. You know, all the homies that come through, and you know, they may not have the badge and gun, but they keep us safe.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? So
There you
you know
go.
how we get out. So
Definitely a team sport out here.
no
Definitely.
doubt, no
Well,
doubt.
like I said, man, we appreciate you. But until next time, stay royal out there. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, yo, I definitely appreciate y'all for checking out this here video. Make sure you go ahead and check out any of the new and old content that is right above me. And make sure y'all stay royal out there. Peace.